Welcome to the Cup of Mets podcast, season 3, episode 2. I'm Ian Bosniak, joined alongside by Robert Venegas and Matthew DeSantis. As always, before we get going, remember to give us a follow on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. We are at Cup of Mets. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And last but not least, be sure to download the SeatGeek app, punch in code Cup of Mets to receive $20 off of your first purchase. And with that, on to episode 2. Gentlemen, the we're kicking off in some sort of fashion here. Obviously, this is the second episode of season 3. The first where we have a couple games under our belt. Today, yesterday, both washouts. Mets not looking great. But before we get into that, how are you guys doing, Rob?
Again, not the start that we wanted. No one expected for us to start the season 0-4, get swept by the Brewers, and then, drop the first one of the Tigers. But I'm worried. I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. But again, when your offense and especially your guys aren't producing and, we just look non-competitive, it's kind of just like raises your eyebrows a little bit. And, you tend to ask more questions like are the Mets going to be competitive this year? Which was like the highlighted question of the offseason/season going into 2024. But it just looked ugly. It's one thing if we're losing 2-1, 3-2, 2-0, and we're putting up ABs, we're getting guys in scoring position, but it was neither of that. So I'm a little concerned, but again, not hitting the panic button just yet.
And Matt, how are you?
Man, I'd say my expectations for the season weren't the highest to begin with, but 4 games in, I mean, like Rob said, it's not time yet to hit that panic button, but shit, man, like fundamentally they did not look good. Missing dropping ground balls going in between their legs. It didn't look like that they were good fundamentally. So, hopefully it's just shaking some of that rust off. I was thinking about it probably coming up from Port St. Lucie, Florida heat and going right to the New York cold. That probably sucks in terms of like batting, but it's no excuse. Our pitching has been top 10 in the league through the first week. So the bats need to wake up. I also I guess I can say I haven't really been too fond of the lineup construction through the first 4 games, but we'll dive into that later.
I'm excited to hear more about that. But yeah, so I mean, Rob and Matt hit the nail on the head. 0-4 start for the Mets, swept by the Brewers at home, then dropped the series opener to the Tigers, where Sean Manaea pitched brilliantly, and we'll touch upon that as well. But then 2 straight rainouts. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I was more happy or more frustrated because it's like, we waited all winter for baseball to come back and then it's back. And obviously, we've had now 3 rainouts. Opening day got pushed today, right? But now we have to wait until tomorrow, right? We got a doubleheader tomorrow, but I don't know. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, they're off. Good. Like we don't want any Mets baseball right now." And I don't know, man. I'm more on the optimistic side. I listen. Teams start 0-4. The Atlanta Braves started 0-4 in 2021. They won the World Series. I'm not saying that we're going to go ahead and do that, but 0-4 isn't the worst start in the world. You just hope that these 4 losses don't necessarily decide the season at the end of the year because that would suck. But it's definitely just shaking off some of the rust, as you mentioned, Matt. Just touching upon the Brewers series quickly, there were several highlights within that. I'm going to talk about the Rhys Hoskins incident, most notably. The first off, Rob, you and I were at opening day. I don't know about you. That was the most excitement of the day, aside from the tailgate. Seeing the benches clear. I mean, aside from that, it was a snooze fest. Quintana pitched okay, but he was in and out of trouble. Starling Marte was the lone, responsible for the lone run. He hit the solo home run. Good to see him back on his feet. But Rhys Hoskins, slid hard into second base. It was a legal slide, but I think it was a little bit late. What do you guys think of the incident? And then Jeff McNeil's response to that afterwards.
Yeah, so again, like you said, Marte was responsible for not only the lone run, but also the lone hit of that game. But Listen, again, I think baseball is a little, it's not confusing, but again, like growing up, the generation we grew up in, we were taught run hard on when the ground ball happens, run hard and break up a double play, meaning slide into second automatically. If you didn't slide into second, we were getting reamed out as little kids. I just had my problem was that Hoskins was a little late and that he went for that left leg or right leg, excuse me, of Jeff McNeil, and it kind of extend. And again, it once he made contact with McNeil, McNeil fell, kind of extended out, and it's nothing like the Chase Utley slide back in 2015, not even close. But again, I think MLB needs to put into place like what's a clean slide and what's a dirty, quote unquote, dirty slide. As you can see, like especially in the past years, the Mets they don't even come close to breaking up double plays. They either run past the bag or they just move out the way. I guess considering the rule, and I don't know what Mendoza or even Showalter was teaching them or telling them what to do when it comes to plays like that. But obviously, and what kind of icing on the cake type thing was it was Reese Hoskins. So, we've had incidents with him multiple times in Philly or when he was with Philly. And then that just kind of topped it all off. And what a way to start 2024. Just benches clearing, bullpens coming out. And like you said, it was the most exciting part of the game. So, again, I have no problem with it because I teach my guys to slide, especially at a young age. As a coach, as a high school coach, I teach my guys to slide or either peel off if they're not even close to the bag. But again, it could have been worse in my opinion. So, but I think Jeff had every right to be angry. I mean, Jeff is he's a spark guy. He's a gritty player. So it kind of, I think Reese, it having to be Reese Hoskins also had something to do with it, but kind of 50-50 to be completely honest with you.
And I personally think if Jeff was so fucking pissed off about it, he should have did something about it right on the spot. If I was him, I would have hit him right across the face and started the year off with a bang. Who gives a shit about your 3 day suspension or whatever they'd give you? Um, start off with a bang, man, and then don't wait for him to crush you with home runs and then throw behind him and get ejected. Like that's just dumb. Um, I mean, I agree. I do think MLB baseball should tell you what a clean and what a dirty slide is. But I mean, McNeil should have fucking did something right there on the spot instead of whining about it.
I agree because then post game he goes ahead and he agrees that it's a legal slide, but I think that that's the gray area where Major League Baseball says, "All right, well, if you're sliding and if you're holding on to the base, then it's a clean slide." All right, well, you know, you can hold on to the base and still slide late. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the thing that, to me, I agree, Rob. Maybe there's like a marker, somewhere, right before second base where it's like, yeah, you can't go down before this, or you can't go down after this unless it's deemed an illegal slide. Um, Obviously, again, I agree, Matt. If McNeil wanted to do something, he should have done it right then and there. I also, me, I like to relate certain times or certain things to other times or certain things. Hey, 2022, we also had a couple bench clearing incidents in the first week of the season. So, at least this team has a little bit of feistiness. Um, but I didn't really want to talk much about the Brewers series because aside from the 7-6 game where we nearly came back, there wasn't really much to talk about. We'll talk individually about the pitching and the offensive performances, but the reason why I wanted to talk about the Reese Hoskins, Jeff McNeil incident, obviously it's over now. We're not going to see the Brewers again until later on in the season. Johan Ramirez most likely won't be a Met at that point, this, that, and the third. But Jeff McNeil, along with Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, and Pete Alonso are combined 7 for 57 to start the season. Three of those hits belonging to, or four of those hits, excuse me, four of those hits
Yep,
belonging
you got
to
it.
Pete Alonso. Um, to me, McNeil is the one that I am most concerned about. The last year did not have his typical 300 batting average type of year, 350 on base percentage, hit 270, but really only started picking it up towards the end. We started seeing the old Jeff McNeil. I don't know about you guys. There's another little variation. Rob, we spoke many times last year about different variations in his stances. His hand, he just doesn't look ready. He doesn't look ready. He looks like he's swinging late. His hands aren't back. Um, and again, he's pulling off the ball, and I don't see a lot of great things coming from Jeff McNeil's bat. And when you look at, obviously, he can play multiple positions, which is great, but that leads you to believe, hey, at a certain point, if the offense is still struggling and if McNeil's struggling, does Luis Angel Acuna get called up? Does something happen? You know what I mean? Like,
I hope so.
yeah, but like obviously McNeil's just one of 3 or 4, and again, we're only 4 games in. I don't think either us three are anything like Mets Twitter right now, where they're absolutely going berserk, wanting to sell already.
Oh no, yeah. No, so listen, I'm not gonna pick one out of the three because I have something to say about all three of them. First things first with Brandon Nimmo. Um, so far in our first 4 games, he's hit the ball over 100 miles per hour. Whether again, I know it hasn't produced or he hasn't produced the results he's wanted, but I know that Nimmo, I'm not so much concerned with Nimmo is what I'm trying to say because he's still hitting the ball hard. Sometimes that's just baseball, man. You hit it at someone, countless times on Sunday series finale against the Brewers. He hit the ball right on the screws and it was right at somebody. So I'm not really concerned with Nimmo. My concern with Jeff McNeil, he's putting the ball too much in the air. He shouldn't be batting fourth, and I know Matt's going to comment on that. He should be batting seventh or eighth, or honestly, even when back in 2019 when he was batting first or second, I liked Jeff McNeil in that aspect of the lineup, but he's hitting the ball too much in the air. Even last year, he's with these lazy fly balls and just trying to get pull happy and trying to get home run happy, that's not his game in my opinion. Whether he's golfing too much in the offseason or he's just again, or maybe missing the majority of spring training this year, was detrimental to him. But again, with McNeil, just do what you do best, which is putting the ball on the ground, spraying all fields, and that 2-strike approach was lethal in 2022. I'd really like for him to get back to that Jeff McNeil. And then my guy, Francisco Lindor, listen, I love you. I want you to be the next captain, but enough of the slow starts, man. You're already in year 4. 2021, you started off slow. 22, you started off slow. Last year, you started off slow. And now, again, this year, you're starting off slow. And this is really bad slow, like not even 100, hitting 100 slow. So I think that's the problem with him, too. He's trying to put the ball in the air when it's really windy in New York in April and May. And he's not really trying to do what Lindor does best, and that's hitting the ball in the gaps. And again, I have no problem with Alonso. He's still hitting 267. He's got 4 of the hits, like you said, and he has a home run under his belt. But again, he's trying to hit for more average this year, and I liked what I saw on Sunday when he poked the ball to right field 3 or 4 times. So again, I know it's the first 4 games, and I said a lot there, but again, we just got to go with what we're good at, and that's again putting the ball in play. I love home runs as much as the next guy, but especially early April, when there's rain in the forecast and heavy winds every other day. We just got to go back to the basics. You see how the Brewers killed us. They hit a single or they worked a walk and then they stole second. Marte being on base in the crucial innings against Detroit, and he didn't even attempt to steal. Like, that's something's got to change with that too. So again, the pitching's been great. I'm not trying to switch gears, but offensively, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think personally to hit on the head with the McNeil situation is and the lineup construction, he should not be batting cleanup. I'm sorry. Not there's no way to justify that. And I know we're waiting every that's fading Martinez because that's where he's gonna slot into our lineup. But it seriously, he's a contact hitter. He's not a power hitter. He's somebody that's going up there and you want him to get a single as a table setter. And that he has no business at all. Like you said, Rob, bat 7th, 8th. That's where he should be. At least so he gets his confidence up, get some at bats and some more at bats in, and see go from there. As for DJ Stewart, he looked terrible the entire 4 days versus the Brewers. I don't think he's got a hit yet this entire year. I said it before during the hot stove. I think he's going to be on a short leash. I think we only signed him 1 year, 1.5 million, and I think he does have an option for the minors. So I think when we're looking for another bat, he's going to be the one that goes down if he's not performing. So Alonso, I love Alonso and Lindor. I think everybody just needs to stop trying to drive the ball out of the park and just get a fucking hit and then start there. All these guys are running right up to the right coming right into the box, like just wanting to hit a home run. And it's not, this approach isn't working for us.
Yeah, I mean, Rob really said a couple things that were spot on, regarding Nimmo, something that I've noticed with Brandon, and we saw it a little bit last year as well. Obviously, he's developed into a different type of player than he was initially, where he was just, a 420 on base percentage type of guy. But you go up there and you see him expanding his zone a little bit, right? And where he's supposed to be that table setter atop the lineup, he's expanding his zone. But that's not just limited to Nimmo as well. I just wanted to add that in. That's also McNeil, that's also Lindor. You see them chasing pitches. Eh, Mendoza has spoke about it. They're waiting for their pitches, and they take a fastball right down the plate for strike one, and then they're kind of guessing every pitch there on out, and pitchers are throwing off speed, breaking stuff, getting the hitters to again extend their zone, and it's not really relaying into any results, positive or so. That's definitely something. Again, the lineup construction. Again, I agree with both of you. Um, but I think right now, until JD Martinez comes in and players start producing, I think it's going to be a bit of a shuffling tail. Mendoza did say that he wants to move Jeff McNeil potentially down to the 7 hole, move Brett Beatty up. Uh, Beatty's looked good far, hitting 250, but he's only 3 games. Plus, he pinch hit that one game, so he has appeared in all 4 games. But he's been hitting the ball hard. So that's the one thing. I mean, I feel like looking at the Mets lineup right now, Rob, you mentioned Starling Marte. He didn't even attempt to steal. I think that's more so health wise and precautionary wise, which sucks that we even have to think about that. But it's crazy that, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Starling Marte, they're really the only ones hitting right now. The Mets need JD Martinez to come in because, as both of you guys have mentioned, the pitching surprisingly has been pretty good. And it's just the bats that we can't wake up when, either opportunities present themselves or, again, it's just a bad approach at the plate right now. And they're kind of lifeless at bats.
Yeah, and I do love what Eric Chavez came out and said that the approach needs to be a little more aggressive. As a hitter, you know, in any level, you want to see fastballs. You'd rather hit a fastball. And I'd rather not try to hit a curveball or be down 0-1, 0-2. It's just the approach, like we've talked about, it's just very concerning. And it kind of stinks because it's all our core guys that aren't swinging the bat well. So, again, long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but again, hopefully the approach changes. These 2 days off that we got help us out a little bit, and we got to at least take one of the double dip tomorrow. So praying on that.
Yeah, I don't mean to keep on diving into McNeil, but do we think that the golfing has anything to do with this?
Yeah. To be honest, yeah.
Because it literally
Yeah,
looks like no pun intended, it looks like he's golfing up there. Like anything
Mm.
down in the zone, he's trying to golf up into the air. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
But even like the middle pitches, he's throwing them in the air when again like even the second game when Savvy pitched, he had bases loaded, 2 out, I think, or 1 out. I'm not sure, but I just remember in that first inning it was bases loaded. He worked the count of 2-1 and then or 2-2, whatever it was, and then he swung at a pitch, middle fastball, and he flew out to center. It's like I'd rather you ground out, or again, I'd rather you line out, but especially your
or,
runners on. Like,
or I'd rather you retire and just join the PGA if that's what you want to do.
Seriously, like somebody interviewed him and he was like, yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was a few days ago during the rain during one of the rainouts, and he was on a golf cart with Todd Zeal, and he was like, dude, he said that aside from the big leagues, I was winning this golf tournament over the off season was one of his best accomplishments ever. And I was like, buddy, you should be in the fucking batting cage. Like, you should be like, you're a pro baseball player, not a pro golfer. Like, come on.
Yeah, for a while I was thinking that Jeff McNeil was almost like a Daniel Murphy, where Murphy doesn't need to pick up a bat and he can go out and hit 280, like not a problem. I mean, you saw it even in his final year, what he ended up hitting 275, 278, 280, whatever. Jeff McNeil's not that type of guy. I thought he was just a straight pure hitter, but he's not. He's playing around with different things. He got a little bit home run happy a couple years ago. The approach looks off again. We're only 4 games in, but um, definitely something to keep an eye on. Shifting over to the pitching, Tyler McGill joins Kodai Sanga on the IL. He was shelved with a shoulder injury. He didn't look that great in his debut, ran high pitch counts. Did go 4 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, but he did walk 3 batters, gave up 3 hits as well. The Mets did go ahead and sign Julio Teherán today. So he's somebody that could be an option. He last threw for the Orioles towards the end of spring, so he is more so major league ready. Last year, started 11 games, made 14 appearances in total for the Brewers, posted a 4.40 ERA, 4.93 FIP, .3 WAR. Again, just a veteran arm, former Mets rival with the Braves. I always think of him and Jair Jurgens just together. Um, but again, who do you guys want to see? Tehran, Lucchesi, Budo? Who do you think is the best option to fill Miguel's shoes right now?
I mean, again, I think the reason why the Mets signed Julio Teheran is to be that option. Like you said before, proven veteran arm. Did get some time in Baltimore, and again, he's pretty much ready to go this year because considering that he opted out with the Orioles when he found out he didn't make the team. Um, a lot of Orioles fans rave about him. They said he would have been on the team if they had room for him. But all in all, I think it's a good move. I mean, last year the Mets came in second place to sign in Julio Teheran. Um, but again, I just to move on, move to Tyler McGill. I really feel for the kid. A guy who showed signs that he could be a really good pitcher in 2022. Has just the injury bug has really hit him and nipped him in the butt. But again, this is a good replacement. And again, my only question is, why not try Jose Budo, or even give Lucchesi a shot? I guess considering the fact that Julio Teheran has some experience with David Stearns and because he was on Milwaukee. I mean, yeah, I think Teheran is the clear cut answer though.
Lucchesi tossed a gem the other night as well. That's
I
something to
did I
note.
did see that. Yeah, that curve was working.
Yeah. And I would obviously they didn't bring Toronto in to play in the minors, so I think we'll see him real soon. And if they want to go somebody from AAA, I mean, you got two half decent options in Luke Casey and Budo. So I guess whatever hand they want to ride. But I think that for right now, it'll be Tehran coming in to fill that void.
I agree. I think Julio Teheran will be the fifth starter when, it's his time in the rotation. Tomorrow, the second tail of the doubleheader is to be determined, so we don't yet know who will start that. Again, they do say Tehran's ready to go, so we don't know if that means ready to go like he's on his way to New York or he's ready to go like he'll start next week. So it kind of remains to be seen. But again, Tehran joins the likes of Jose Budo, Joey Lucchesi as options now that Tyler McGill, unfortunately, again goes down with a shoulder injury. Switching gears to the positives, though, because we have to look at the positives. Sean Manaea, absolutely stellar in his outing the other night against Detroit. 6 shutout innings, 8 strikeouts, no runs allowed. What do you guys see from Manaea? Looked like he was really mixing in all of his pitches really nicely, whether it be the fastball that rises up, the changeup away to the right-handed hitters. He just looked like he had all the I mean, he had the entire lineup off balance for the entirety of his start. Really could have went out there for a seventh inning if it was later on in the season. Um, what do you guys make of Sean Manaea's performance? And considering he had a decent amount of success with Oakland, I mean, maybe this is something that the Mets could really relay.
Yeah, again, I mean, he kind of it was funny you mentioned Sean Manaea because again, like Gary Cohen was saying that he cut his hair and that when Jacob DeGrom cut his hair, he kind of like leveled up. So Sean Manaea is kind of using that. Or I thought that was kind of funny that Sean Manaea brought that up, but yeah, you said it best, man. He every hitter he faced was uncomfortable. He took a perfect game into the fifth inning, I believe, or no hitter into the sixth, whatever it was. But he looked really good. That fastball, he got a lot of strikeouts on that fastball, and it's good to see, man, for a guy who kind of struggled last year and then got moved to the bullpen and kind of found it, revitalized his his pitching and his career in terms of as a pitcher. But I'm just super happy for him. That's another thing too that he went 6 innings. It's been a long time since, and that's been the struggle for the Mets starting staff the last two or 20 in 2023 and to start this year is that pitchers can't get past the fifth inning, sixth inning. So it's a big boost in terms of what we got in Sean Manaea and that signing so far through one start. But just really happy for him. I think he looks good in orange and blue, and as much as I miss that hair, he looks really good, and he looks like the Oakland A's version of Sean Manaea. So hopefully the staff itself just feeds off that performance.
Yeah, I think he looked like a solid 2, 3 starting pitcher. And if he keeps doing that, he offers us a whole lot of upside. If we're in it down at the stretch, that just means great. It's a great contract to have on for next year. Another pitcher. If we're not, he'd probably be the top available starting pitcher at the trade deadline. So I'm rooting for him to just keep playing well. He the way he mixed his pitches had guys going off speed. I think his command was really well. 8 strikeouts. I think I hope he feeds off of that outing and keeps going.
I love the command too. That was something that in years past he was a little erratic at times, so that was really great. And maybe the hair does have something to do with it, Rob. Maybe you and Gary are on to something. But again, Manaea, terrific, only 2 walks as well, so that's really something nice. And again, you mentioned how long it took the Mets last year to make it into the 6th inning. Yeah, 4 games in, we have a starter make it to the 6th inning. Now the big question is, will it take until the end of April to get a starter into the 7th inning? So that's the next hurdle that the Mets have to tackle. Hopefully, we don't have a repeat of 2023. From one Mets debut to another in Manaea, how about Luis Severino's debut? He gave up 11 hits, 3 earned runs over 5 innings, struck out 6, did not walk a batter, took the loss. I Here's the thing with Severino that I just want to point out really quickly. The 11 hits, that was worrisome. With that said, he was throwing strikes. He was throwing consistently around the plate, using all of his pitches. He didn't have his off speed like he wanted to, and he even admitted that in his post game. But what you make of his debut as a Met? He was throwing gas. I thought he looked good. Especially when you can stay around the strike zone. I'd rather see someone do that than walk the world. What do we make of Sevy's outing? I think that there's a lot of upside moving forward. I mean, it looks like he'll make his next start against Cincinnati, but what do you make of Luis Severino's debut in the orange and blue?
I liked it. I mean, aside from him getting shelled, I thought, like you said, he was throwing strikes, which matters. I think I I think we'll start to see him calm down a little bit. It was his first game. Um, there's a pretty good lineup, and I think we need to see more starts under his belt, and until you make a big determination on how he is or how that signing was. Um, but like you said, throwing strikes, they were just hitting them. So hopefully next go around he's mixing in a little more off speed and trying to hit the corners a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, the velocity was there. If it wasn't for one hanging slider, maybe his start would have been better. In terms of, again, that first inning. I did read this morning that they changed one of the rulings. Zach Short's play, the second batter, I believe, was ruled as a hit. Now it has been changed to an error on Zach Short's part. So again, the 6 earned runs is going to change. His ERA did go down. Not that it matters. We still lost. But yeah, no, I'm pounding the strike zone. Fastball velocity was there. If he just leaves the ball in the ballpark and 0 walks and 6 strikeouts, I'll take that. Through 5 innings. Again, I think there is upside there. It's one start. Let's talk about this when he's 3, 4, 5 starts in, and we'll go from there. But again, you know, still very early. There were some positives, even though the record doesn't show it. But again, I do have high hopes for Luis Severino.
I think overall, I mean, we're in a pretty good consensus where we can look at it and say, all right, Jose Quintana did okay, 3 earned runs, 4 2/3. Miguel, obviously, 1 earned run, got taken out after 4 because of an injury. But then you have Benaya's great start, and you have Severino's start where there are some positives to pull. So again, surprisingly, the pitching has not been the issue thus far. The Mets team ERA as of right now is 3.16, which is second to the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League, sixth overall in Major League Baseball. And just want to let everyone know, again, we're 4 games in. Okay. So neither any three of us, none of us are hitting the panic button like everyone else is. Okay. Just want to make that clear. The Cup of Mets podcast, we're not going crazy. All right. But just to show you, the other 6 teams that are listed here, the Red Sox, Tigers, Yankees, Brewers, Guardians, and Braves, they have a combined record of 21-5. Okay. So once the balls start dropping, once the guys start getting into the routines, Alonso, Lindor, the Nimos of the world, they start producing like they can. When JD Martinez comes up, the offense will have a little bit more punch. And that will be able to supply the pitching. But again, the pitching has to be there. It's only been one turn through the rotation, and you both said it. We kind of again have to wait just to see more. One last note on the rotation: Kodai Senga has thrown in consecutive days. His next hurdle will be thrown from 120 feet with a little bit more intensity. If that's all good, he'll begin a throwing program from the mound, and we'll go from there. But Kodai Senga looks like he's on the mend, and the Mets could really use Kodai, moving forward. To the bullpen, I mean, listen, aside from Johan Ramirez's antics the other day, as well as Michael Tonkin's extra inning implosion the other night, which wasn't helped out by the defense you guys were talking about in the beginning, the fundies haven't been great. Joey Wendell did not look good. What have we seen from the bullpen? I've liked what I've seen from Ottavino, even Drew Smith. He looked good on opening day, got the Mets out of a jam. Brooks Raley looks like he's back in form, but obviously most important, the Trumpets are playing Edwin Diaz, 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. So great to have Sugar back out there on the mound.
Yeah, it was really nice to see him on the mound. It's weird to hear those trumpets coming in and then lose the game. It just it and I love what Steve Cohen's doing with the stadium, but isn't it starting to look like a fucking concert venue?
Yes.
To anybody, is this starting to like get a little out of hand, bro? Like
Yeah, between that,
those
fuck the
dancers looked
dancers.
awful, bro. They were like not even on cue with each other, dude. Like oh, like come on, you could have picked better. Look at the dancers, man. Like, come on.
Queen's crew.
Yeah, and they're not even good, bro. Like it's starting to look like you're going to City Field and it's like the circus. So I'm just not too sure what the overall goal is there. If he's trying to literally make our stadium like a concert, um, with the strobe lights and shit. Like I don't know.
So I don't mind the strobe lights as much because Edwin Diaz is a type of pitcher that deserves like a grand entrance. But but again, I last year when we went to Miami and they put in AJ Puck or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
they did that. So I think maybe Steve
Shoo,
is
shoo,
trying
shoo,
to,
shoo.
yeah, I think maybe Steve got that page out of the Marlins notebook, or maybe we're not the
That
only team that does that. But
Johan Duran up in Minnesota also has a crazy
yeah,
entry.
oh, okay, yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I remember. But I don't like the fact that we have a Queen's crew, a dance crew. That's just not
Yeah,
baseball like, in my opinion. Not to say that you're not allowed to dance during baseball or this and that, but again, like it's a 9 inning game.
No dancing in
We
baseball.
we have a seventh inning stretch for a reason, and again, you have that big
yeah.
ass scoreboard for a reason. So I don't want.
Exactly. Why is the Queen's
Yeah.
dance team dancing around when we're fucking losing?
No, and that's and that too. Like and it's not like they're dancing like on the field or this and that. They're on top of the dugouts. And like as a player, I just want to be like, yo, like get like stop making all this noise. Like I'm trying to focus,
Yeah, exactly. Like, get
like
out
what
of
if
here.
I'm
We're
doing
not
like a
even
curtain
winning.
call and then like I see a Queens crew member like dancing up there. It's like, fam, get out of my way, fam. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not hating. Listen, it's whatever, but
And no, but what Matt said before, yeah, the Mets are down 6 runs, and you have seven assholes standing on top of the dugout with the biggest smiles on their faces, like dancing to
It,
whatever. And it's like, yo, read the room. Like no one's happy, no one wants to watch you. And you
mhm.
know what? I love the new stadiums throughout baseball. I really do. But it's about the game at the end of the day, right? City Field is
yeah.
already a beautiful venue. There are so many things for families to do, for children to do, this, that, and the third. why do we need to make it like, and like you said, Rob, like this isn't basketball. Like there's no halftime, there's no timeouts
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you have a bunch of cheerleaders run out on the field. Like, why do we need a dance crew? I think they have one down in Miami. I might be wrong, but they might have them in certain ballparks, but like they're not
That
needed. They're annoying.
maybe that fits Miami a little better,
Yeah,
but
it
like,
does.
dude, they're not like the performance just wasn't good, and it's like, come
And
on,
and
man.
and wait,
That
I don't know, Rob, I don't know. Wait, Matt, did you go over the weekend?
The game?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No,
I
no,
was
right. All
watching
right.
though.
Rob, I don't know if you got this. If you got this just either, but when they were throwing the t-shirts, I didn't know who the hell was throwing them. I didn't know if it
yeah,
was
yeah.
the Pepsi,
I
I didn't
was
know if it was the
That's
Coca-Cola
so funny.
crew or
That's
if it
so
was the
funny.
dance team. Because then
Yeah.
all of a sudden I see them launch one up, and then all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden, literally from like 5 rows in front of me, someone just
Yeah.
chucks a t-shirt, and I'm like, who the hell was that? And I just see like this redhead girl just like bobbing her head, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, there's so many moving
And
pieces.
the new MC, he's an MC, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no. And then I think no, well I was gonna comment on their outfits too. It's like 50 degrees out, like mad windy, and they're in like crop tops, like it's like
Yeah,
yeah. It's no, but you said it perfectly though. Read the room a little bit. I mean, again, you know what
it's
the Mets should start doing, and I heard the Marlins do this. Marlins have designated seats where you pay like a certain amount of money and you get all you could eat. So like if I'm sitting like section whatever, whatever, and there's like a 3 or 4 designated seats for that, I download the app, pay $50, I get all I could eat throughout the game, the whole game, innings 1 through 9. I'd
See,
rather that.
knowing the Mets, they would do that, but then the food included would be like a hot dog, and like lame ass shit like chicken tenders. Like it wouldn't be their deluxe food. Like you couldn't go to like and one of my favorite places is Amazing Chicken Co. I'm not sure if you've ever been there,
Mm.
but they have these like first of all, their chicken tenders are amazing, and then they
figured
have
that much.
these tater tot like barrels. They're like big, bro. They're like huge. I don't know. Comes in a nice box. That place is really good. But nonetheless, like I feel like if City Field did that, you wouldn't be eating like the Pat LaFreda steak sandwich.
No,
Like
Oh
yeah.
no, no.
you're
They did
getting
improve in the food department, don't get me wrong. And Boz, actually, last thing I'll say about opening day. That's funny you said that about the t-shirts because the MC was like, "All right, fans, like stand up. It's t-shirt time, whatever." And I stand up and all of a sudden like one of them whizzes by my forehead like and I'm just like, "Whoa." And then another one goes over my head like and I'm just like, "Whoa, they're coming through all angles, huh?" And it's just like one person got the t-shirt gun and then there's like 4 of them throwing it at the same time and I was like, "Whoa." It was kind of funny because I was laughing about it with my friend Bach.
Yeah,
That like I wasn't even ready, and then like a t-shirt came my way, like over my literally like inches away from my head, like like yeah,
yeah. I
any
just
did any of you guys get any do you get any food there?
yeah. I got the new chicken spot, which is good. It had
I,
the cheese curds and it's
Mm.
good chicken. It's like Frosted Flakes chicken, which was
Where was
good.
that one located?
It was like across from Shake Shack. It's like where that Mexican John joint used to be.
Oh,
Um,
they got everything in center field, man.
yeah, yeah. And then
I
they do
mean,
like what else did I get? I got the sausage and peppers. They got the tequila buckets or whatever, the boozy buckets. It's honestly like they improved in that aspect. Don't get me
How
wrong.
much was the boozy bucket?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's probably like
he doesn't remember.
25
probably,
probably.
probably. But dude, people like, bro, like one girl I saw, she like latched it on like it was her purse, like on her wrist. She's, I'm like, yo, that's legit. But yeah, I mean, hey, probably over the summer if we continue to play like this, I'll buy 1 or 2, 3 of those
Yeah,
throughout the game. Yeah,
I mean,
Shit.
you know me,
throughout the
Robbie. I
game
can't
I've been
wait.
in.
I can't wait on lines personally.
Yeah,
I have a hard time missing some of the game. The one time I was online, of course, Starling Marte hit a home run.
yeah.
So that just whatever. But to me, I went old school as if I was at Shea Stadium because again,
Mm.
for me, it's about the game. I'm not gonna sit in center field, freeze my ass off, and watch the game on a scoreboard when I can just do it from my house. Um,
Yeah.
so when I was there, I got 2 dogs. I got a pretzel and I got a knish. I went old school. The knish was so
Interesting.
good. It was so good. I feel like I was back at Shea. And I'm not gonna lie, again, I love all the enhancements that Steve Cohen has made to City Field, but with each little thing, and with this stupid dance crew, that's just kind of like the icing on top of the cake. I just say to myself more and more that I miss Shea Stadium and I miss just going to the ballpark to watch the damn game
Mhm.
because it's getting to be a little much.
Yeah, and we don't have to get into it, but it's like similar to when we went in 2022 to the playoffs and he started that DJ, started playing "We Are the Champions" and we were
Oh
down
my,
7-0. Like,
that was the issue. Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, like
yeah. I
talk about
mean,
read the room, right? Reading the room.
Yeah,
but
no.
boys, seriously, to ring it in for like the first true episode of the season, where are we on the panic scale 4 games in? I know Frank the Tank is at a 15 out of 10 right now, but where are you guys sitting? Because right now I'm probably at like a 4 out of
Honestly,
10.
I wanted to speak about him too. They should ban him from City Field.
Frank.
I think they already did. SNY is not allowed to show him on camera apparently.
No, but they should actually like ban him. Like he is his. I was like, people have just been going off lately about him, especially Mets fans, and they have the right to. Everybody
Did you?
thinks that every Mets fan is like him, and it's
Nah.
awful because he's just a
Yeah.
psycho.
Did you see what I tagged the account in, the Cup of Mets account in? Like I like quoted it. And he was like, I liked it better when the Wilpons were here. Like, all right,
Yeah,
bro,
exactly.
relax.
Like he's
Like,
fucking out of his mind. He just
yeah.
finds it. But you have to think that that guy literally makes all of his money off of these rants. So,
No, exactly.
um, and then what would happen if the Mets were good and he had nothing to rant about? He would make no money.
And then
So
he'd have
I
to
don't
Exactly.
rant
know.
about the New Jersey Transit again.
Exactly. I just think he's a sorry loser and he finds everything to complain about.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, we met him down in Miami. I had to pull him away from biting his little thing in order to get a photo with him. So it just
Ugh.
it gets to be a little bit much. And speaking of like the Frank the Tank, you should ban him from City Field. How about the Mets GOAT tweet of the year when Jeannie Mets report stepped aside? Did you guys see
That
that?
was that was that was funny, yeah. Because
That was amazing.
Because apparently he got a job somewhere in baseball, and
Yeah,
then somebody was like, well, for who? The Savannah Bananas.
yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, but I don't even know. Did you guys answer my question? Where are you
Oh no.
guys on the
Well,
panic meter?
I think I would have to agree with you in terms of like 4 or 5. I'm halfway. I'm
Yeah,
not all the way in, but again, there are some positives. It's not like the pitching's getting shelled. Like we're losing like the Rockies, like 16, giving up 15 runs in an inning. So again,
yeah.
just and I'm not. And again, 2005 we didn't make the playoffs, but I do remember it like it was yesterday. We started the year 0-5 and we won 6 straight after that. So again, it's a marathon, guys. It's not a sprint. As much as I didn't like what I saw from the offense, especially from our guys, again, we still got 158 more of these Johns. So, just trying
All
to
of these Johns.
Like Lindor said, just trying to keep good vibes or great vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. My panic meter is probably at 5.
all right.
One up from you guys. I'm a little concerned on the hitting, and I'm concerned a little bit. I don't think Jeff McNeil is that guy anymore. I don't know. I hope that he can figure it out. Maybe get some freaking trade value, but we should have traded him a while ago. I just don't think he's definitely on the backside of his career.
Yeah, I agree. I think he may have his as we mentioned before, he may have his sights set on the golf course. But again, we have to pray that McNeil can figure it out because the one thing that I will say about McNeil, aside from him going off on Hoskins when he's been striking out, he hasn't been like slamming his bat down and stuff like that. So maybe he's like maturing a little bit, or maybe he just doesn't give a shit. I don't know. Um, with that said, again, looks like we're all around the same area, 4 or 5 in terms of the panic meter. So maybe we'll have a little bit more in terms of, hey, no, we're really worried next week. But as of right now, everyone just fucking relax. Like we're four
Yeah,
games
breathe,
in. Breathe.
breathe.
Rob said it before. 158 games left. How many times have the Mets gone on a 5 or 6 game winning streak over the last 5 to 10 years? Several times. They could easily be
Remember,
above
we
500.
started 11-1 under Mickey Callaway. What happened that year?
Exactly. Exactly. And Rob, you said before, you brought up 2005, right? Did you not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 2005. We started 0-5, and then we
Mhm.
we ripped out six straight. So,
Yeah. And again,
and
like not to talk about division or standings this early, but like again, the Marlins are winless. The Phillies and Nationals, I think they're like 1-4, 2-4, whatever it is, and then the Braves are the Braves, you know. So again, it's Bryce Harper started 0 for 11 his first three games, and then he hits three grand slams. Like that's baseball, fellas. Like it's gonna
exactly.
happen.
And if Lindor goes ahead and hits three home runs tomorrow, then we're gonna
Yep.
be like, oh, Lindor. So it's just
Yeah.
those are the true ebbs and flows of baseball. And it just takes some people time to get under their belt, especially during weather like this. But again, no excuses. Again, hopefully the boys can bounce back. Just looking ahead again, tomorrow the Mets will finish off, weather pending. Again, the rain's supposed to kill off tomorrow morning around 7, 8 a.m. The Mets have a doubleheader that'll kick off at 12:10 Eastern time. It will be Casey Mize for the Detroit Tigers, former number one overall draft pick. He will be opposed by Adrian Hauser, who will make his Mets debut. And then tomorrow evening, as of right now, it's to be determined. It'll be against Matt Manning, whether the Mets will go of like a bullpen game, or if they'll go, if they'll bring somebody up, option Garrett and bring up a Teherán or a Budo or a Lucchesi. That remains to be seen. I don't believe Lucchesi is eligible to be called up due to him just starting recently, but don't quote me on that. And then the Mets head to Cincinnati, where they will face the Reds. Three-game set from Friday to Sunday. It'll be Jose Quintana versus Hunter Green on Friday, Luis Severino versus Nick Martinez on Saturday, and Sean Manaea versus Andrew Abbott on Sunday. Boys, any final notes before we wrap up episode 2 of season 3 here on this lovely, gorgeous April 3rd evening?
No, again, I mean, you kind of said it. You kind of said it with the pitching matchups. I think it'll be beneficial towards the Mets that they missed out on facing Skubal, Tariq Skubal. He's the guys. He's the Tigers' ace. But again, one game at a time. Mets fans, just breathe. Again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. JD Martinez also could be coming this weekend or even next week. And then again, they signed Julio Teherán, so let the boys cook. We'll be all right. April showers lead to May flowers. So maybe all these showers and poor play in April leads to something better in May when we get Senga back and we're fully healthy. But again, let's go Mets. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and no better way to kind of talk about the Mets with my two boys on Hump Day. So again, let's get to tomorrow.
Yeah, let's not panic too hard. Like you guys keep saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So let's go out there and let's take it a day at a time. Let's go out and try and take two tomorrow on the doubleheader for versus the Tigers, and have the season start for Cincinnati, and try and gain some momentum.
Yes, sir. We're going to play 2 tomorrow. Hopefully they'll take 2 tomorrow. Again, remember to give us a follow on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. We are at Cup of Mets. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And lastly, be sure to download that SeatGeek app, punch in code Cup of Mets, and use it to get $20 off of your first purchase, whether it be to a sporting event, concert, you name it, you got it. For Matthew DeSantis and Robert Venegas, I'm Ian Bosniak. Thanks again for joining us. Again, everybody breathe, relax. We'll be fine. We'll see you next week, and hopefully the Mets are in better standings. Good night, everybody.